Welcome to this deep winter series of this mindful compassion-based meditation atelier, which means workshop. So today we're going to be practicing a body scan. You're welcome to do this practice sitting or lying down, making sure that you are warm and comfortable, obviously with the intention that we're falling awake and not falling asleep. So just settling in, any props that you need. Got a hot water bottle. My hands get quite cold. If that's something that you experience as well, a blanket or folding your hands into your clothes, or if you have a low, one thing that can be helpful if you are sitting is to undo your top button, and if your hands are cold you could rest them here on your belly, and that can be quite a nice way of directing the breath as well. So it can help guide us to bring the breath a bit lower. But well, I'm going to just make the most of that being open, but I've got my hands on my lap. So we're continuing with the wintering series, exploring the power of rest and retreat, based on Catherine May's book. And I'll give a reading of that at the end. So just taking a moment to arrive and to settle, just checking in. Have you got everything that you need? You can slow down the movements, weave any adjustments into the practice. It doesn't need to be separate or different. And we'll begin and end with our bell. So to begin with, just setting up your posture, having a dignified, bodying grace, gratitude for this moment. Just taking a moment to congratulate yourself for being here, for taking the time out of your day to rest in the present moment. Remembering that there's no right or wrong way of doing the practice. Listen to your body and pay attention to its needs. This is really important. This is what we're cultivating, and this is what we're practicing. Paying attention. Anchoring in the present moment through the breath and the body. So perhaps taking a moment to find your anchor for today's practice when your mind wanders off, lost in the stories, the narratives, looking for something a bit more interesting. We're so overstimulated in this world. So we're going to give ourselves a bit of a break on this, that our minds will wander. And one way of quickly bringing ourselves back is finding an anchor, a point to ground ourselves in the present moment. So it may be the breath, or it may be a part of the body that's neutral. Your left eyebrow, the tip of your left finger. Your Achilles heel. Just finding somewhere that you can remind yourself to bring yourself back to when your mind's got lost. And then when you found that point, bringing your awareness to your breath. Not changing the rhythm in any way, simply breathing in and breathing out. For 3 breaths, I'm inviting you to extend your out breath. So if you perhaps observe that you breathe in maybe to the count of 4, extending that out breath to the count of 6. And then returning your breath to its natural rhythm. And so this is something else you can return your attention to if your mind wanders, or perhaps if we reach parts of the body that you don't want to rest with today, that you can bring your awareness to the breath and practice extending the out breath until you're ready to return to the practice. And from the breath, expanding your awareness to include all of your body. Sense of contact that you're making with the earth. And now an invitation to narrow your awareness all the way down to your left foot. So within this practice, we're working this mental muscle of narrowing and widening the lens of our attention. Begin by exploring your left foot, and in particular, narrowing your awareness to your big toe, your left big toe. What, if anything, can you notice here? You can wiggle it if that's helpful. Your left big toe, the nail bed, the joint. Fabric of your sock. And then moving your awareness away from the left big toe to the left little toe. What, if anything, can you notice here? And now moving your awareness to those toes in between, points of contact that they make with each other. And then, just as we brought our attention to the toes, bringing your awareness to the base of the foot, the heel, the balls of the foot, that slight arch, tingling, warmth, coolness. Simply noticing. And then moving your awareness from the base of the foot to the top of the foot. Skin, all those tendons and ligaments and nerve vessels and blood vessels and all sorts going on here. Very busy part of the body. What can you notice here? And just moving your awareness away from the foot to your left ankle. What, if anything, is here? We all notice our left ankles when we sprain them. But what can you notice right now? Are there any aches and pains here? Is it warm? Does it have a squidgy feeling? Hard? Are there colours? Are there sounds? Bringing that childlike curiosity to your left ankle that pretty much goes unnoticed for the most part of your day. Perhaps, if this feels right for you, a sense of gratitude. Your left ankle, incredibly complex joint, requires very minimal direct input from us to do its job. And then just as we brought our attention here, we're going to move it away to the lower leg between the ankle joint, and let's go all the way up to the knee. Let's include the knee here today. Your lower leg, your left lower leg. What's interesting? What's dull? What's quiet? What's pleasant? What's unpleasant? Exploring it all with equal measure and equal attention. Pulsing, throbbing, perhaps contact with the earth, fabric of your clothes against your skin. Maybe the muscle aches. Maybe you can feel a sense of electrical impulse. Your left lower leg, your knee joint. It's floating patella that we're not born with and grows and eventually deteriorates a little. It's worn. Use all the places you've been. Feeling a sense of warmth and compassion and kindness towards this part of the body, if that feels right for you, your left lower leg. And then moving your awareness away from the left lower leg to the left upper leg. So from the knee joint up to the hip joint, thigh, muscle, bone. Checking in with your posture from time to time, adjusting, weaving any movements into the practice, honouring this body. We rest in stillness, noticing we're not really ever still. Even in the quietest moments, there's so much going on beneath the surface. Bringing equal attention to what's interesting and what's quiet. As we narrow and widen the lens of our attention and work out this grey matter. Rewiring, creating new neural pathways simply by observing and anchoring in the present moment in the body and observing the felt sensation of your upper thigh, your upper left leg. And now an invitation to expand your awareness to include all of the left leg, and if this feels right for you, being playful with that breath, breathing into and out of the left leg. Could be like filling a balloon, could be you're breathing in and out of your toes, or that you're pouring air from a jug into that leg. Breathing into and out of your left leg. This can perhaps give a sense of spaciousness. This can perhaps feel silly. Using this as you wish. My guidance is simply that. It's an invitation and you don't have to follow. Perhaps noticing resistance. Being open to your experience just as it is, that you don't need to change anything. And sitting in quiet, we can observe our habits and tendencies. We don't need to fix them. We can be with them. Accept them. Maybe eventually accept ourselves just as we are, whole. And now moving your attention away from the left leg to your right leg and all the way down the right leg to that right big toe. What, if anything, is here? Again, you can wiggle it if that's helpful. Does it feel warm? Cold? Can you notice the nail bed? And then moving your attention away to the right little toe. What's here, if anything? Tiny part of the body that's pretty crucial to maintaining our balance and walking us around, going fairly unnoticed unless we bang it into a chair leg or it rubs in our shoes, someone steps on it. Can you find a little bit of gratitude for this part of your body? If you can't, what is that? What's here? Then moving your awareness to the toes in between, the contact they make with each other, fabric of socks, the floor, the blanket. And then moving your awareness to the base of the foot, the heel, the arch, the ball of the foot. And then moving around to the top of the foot, the skin, the tendons, ligaments, nerves, blood vessels. And then leaving the right foot all together and bringing your awareness to your right ankle. Perhaps observing the edges of this. Well, where does your right ankle begin and end? And then moving your awareness away from the ankle to the right lower leg up to the knee joint. So we're including the knee joint, the back of the knee, the calf, the bone, the fabric of your clothes against your skin. Perhaps observing that your mind has wandered off into stories of shopping lists and to-do lists and didn't do lists and stories and all of that good stuff. Your prefrontal cortex does to fill in the gaps and the spaces. Congratulate yourself for noticing and returning your awareness either to that anchor or the lower right leg, just for this time. You can return to those bits and bobs later. Moving your awareness away from the right lower leg to the right upper leg, up to the hip joint. What can you notice here? Lightness, heaviness, electrical impulses, electrical pulses even. Squidgy, the hardness of the bone, softness, shapes and colours, movements. And then an invitation to expand your awareness to include all of the right leg and be playful with that breath, if that feels right. Breathing into the space of the right leg and breathing out of the space of the right leg. And now leaving your right leg and the legs behind, we're going to move our awareness to the trunk area of the body. And today we're going to explore this in two sections. So we're going to begin with a cross section from the belly to the chest, so the sort of front part of the body, pelvis, hips, all those organs. You've got softness and hardness of the ribs protecting the heart and the lungs, up to the collarbones. So shining the spotlight of your awareness around this front part of your trunk. You're checking in with each nook and cranny. What can you notice here? The rise and fall of your belly and chest as you breathe in and out. Can you notice the beat of your heart? It's like being a child in the play park, going from one part to the other. Kidneys, liver, bowels, bladder, skin, bone, heart, lungs. What can you notice in this front part of your body? And now let's move our awareness to the back. So we've got the, may not have included the buttocks and the leg part. So you've got that upper part of the legs where it reaches the sacrum and the lower back, middle back, upper back, shoulders. It's letting go of any tension or tightening you might be finding around here. These hot spots within the body for tension. The back is pretty much up there. We've got the kidneys at the back here, and maybe you can notice the breath expanding to the back, the ribs. Shining the spotlight of your awareness around the back of the trunk. Simply noticing, we're not changing anything. If you need to adjust, weaving any movements into the practice. Noticing what the body does, how it contracts, how it expands, to take care of you and your needs. And then expanding your awareness to include all of the trunk altogether. Being aware of the edges and lines of that for you. Are they clear? Are they blurred? And an invitation to be playful with that breath, to breathe into the space of your trunk area and breathe out of the space of your trunk area. And now an invitation to move your awareness away from the trunk area of your body, down the shoulders to the arms and your hands. So we're exploring both arms together and exploring our hands. What, if anything, can you notice here? The palms of the hands, the backs of the hands, the nail beds, the differences in skin textures, differences in temperatures, shapes, colours, movements. And from the hands, moving your awareness to your lower arms, from the wrists to the elbows, delicately and kindly, exploring your lower arms. So with a sense of compassion and kindness towards yourself. These parts of the body that are fairly unsentimental, don't require our gratitude. They get on with it regardless. Only getting our attention when they are causing us pleasure or pain, discomfort. And then moving your awareness away from the lower arms to the upper arms between the elbow and the shoulders, the biceps and triceps, the contact with the earth, fabric of clothes against your skin, shapes, colours, movements, whatever you notice. Now an invitation to bring your awareness to your arms as a whole unit, and breathe into the space of them and breathe out of the space of them if that feels right for you. Moving our awareness away from the arms, past the shoulders to your throat. Your neck. Moving towards the scalp. Round over the top to the forehead. Perhaps letting go of any tension or tightening you might notice. The eyebrows, the eye sockets, cheeks, your nose, your lips, your jaw, to the ears, and the brain underneath. So much to discover about this incredible organ. If you move around to the front of your brain, just beneath your forehead, you have your prefrontal cortex, which is where we spend most of our time. What can you notice of it here? The physical and felt sensation. And then let's expand our awareness from the head to include all of the body, the arms and the trunk, the right leg and the left leg, and holding your body in your mind's eye as a whole. An invitation to be playful with that breath one last time, breathing into and out of the space of your body. And then returning your breath to its natural rhythm, breathing in, breathing out, just resting in stillness for a few more moments, perhaps exploring any bits of the body that you'd like to spend a little bit more time with. Just take us to January. Close with a short reading from Catherine May book. So she's been to Norway and she's just visited some native Norwegians and met some reindeer. In Tromsø, I learned that extraordinary things can flourish in the dark, cold, polar night. But I also realised that no matter how hard I tried to fight them, I simply had no defence against the changes that were happening in my life. I was missing my antlers. I had skittered over to a different country to convince myself that I could carry on just as normal, but instead I saw only my desperation, mirrored in the ice. But it was there too that I came to a kind of acceptance of my own limitations and of the future that lay before me. I learned that I was not invincible at this moment in my life, but also that it wouldn't last forever. I learned to rest and to surrender. I learned to dream. I took photographs that imagined showing to some future person as yet unknown to me and saying, "Look, here you are under the northern lights." Few of us inherit the rich and complex mythologies that the Sami pass on. The sense of the world being alive around us and of ancestors keeping a gentle watch, residing in the very rocks we stand on, the very wind that buffets us. Most of us have to make our own, if we think to do it at all. So moving and stretching, whatever way your body fancies. You may have ignored during that practice. And we just move to taking tea. We're having Iron Goddess, an oolong tea. So it's kind of in between a black tea and a green tea, rolled into balls. Tea user. We'll just begin by waking them up. I'll warm our cups a little bit. So this tea can be brewed maybe 8 times. And each time it has a different flavour. I'm going to just pause the space. And for those of you practicing in your own time, an invitation to perhaps journal or reflect on your experience of that practice, what you noticed within your body today, what was interesting, what wasn't. And we will be back for a closing space. So pause. So we'll close with bread and butter practice of the breathing space. So this is one to weave into your day as often as you can. We spend our time within the space of our body, learning, listening to it, with the intention that you can bring pockets of this into your daily life, so you can step out of that tiny prefrontal cortex into the space of your body. It's always there to anchor you in the present moment, that can give a sense of grounding, and all of the lovely science behind that, with the activating the parasympathetic nervous system that supports us to respond to situations. It gives ourselves an opportunity to pause and potentially respond differently, not necessarily, and that's not the goal, but yeah, gives you a little bit of a retreat in times of challenge, good or bad, as it is. So just taking a moment to arrive in your body, having tall and graceful and dignified posture, honouring your body and the time that you've taken out of your day to be here. And narrowing your awareness to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Perhaps extending that out breath. This is a direct link into de-stressing. Just extending that out breath can be enough. And then expanding your awareness of the breath to include all of your body. So we gather our focus, we narrow our attention, and then we expand our awareness outwards. And just taking a moment to think about what you really need to do next. What does your body need you to do? Is it some stretching? Is it some movement? Is it some food, some water, some rest, some more clothes, moisturizer? What do you need before you switch on that prefrontal cortex and get into doing mode? And as best you can, taking this sense of awareness and connection into whatever you have to do with your day to day. Thank you so much for joining me.